A very good day to Doctor. We are Group 8 from Occurrence 1 and we are here to present our group assignments related to MFRS 15, revenue from contracts with customers for the property sector. We have 4 group members, Chia Yun Yin, Chin Jing Le, Lin Zam Wei, and me, Yvonne Kong. This is the contents that we are going to discuss in our presentation.
Let's move to the exclusive summary. In this presentation, overview of revenue expect for 4 companies including Malaysian Resources Corporation Berhad, MRCB, UOA Development Berhad, Masing Group, and IOI Properties Group Berhad. This presentation includes background section, type of revenue, industry-specific issues, MFRS 15 base revenue disclosed, and ethics and revenue-related issues.
Thank you, I'm Jin Le. I will continue to talk about 2.0, background of the company. From this table, Malaysian Resources Corporation Berhad (MRCB) was founded in 1968 as Perak Carbide Corporation Sdn Berhad. IOI Properties Group Berhad followed in 1969. UOA Development Berhad was founded in 1987, and Masing Berhad was founded in 1991. Next is the year the company was listed in Bursa Malaysia. MRCB was also the first company to be listed in Bursa among these 4 companies, which is from the year 1971. Masing Berhad was listed in Bursa in 1992, ventured into property development in 1994, followed by UOA in 2011 and also IOIPG in 2014. UOA, Masing Berhad, and IOIPG are listed in Malaysia's top 10 property developers. The number of employees has been listed, and among these 4 companies, IOI Properties has the most employees. Are the main activities for these 4 companies, which include property development, property investment, and investment holding. Next is 3.1, definition of revenue. Revenue is defined as income generated by an entity's ordinary activities. Dividend income and interest income are covered by MFRS standard on financial instrument, not MFRS 15. So, they are presented as finance income rather than revenue. According to MFRS 15, revenue is recognized when goods or services are transferred to the consumer in an amount that reflects the consideration to which the entity expects to be entitled. The objective of MFRS 15 is to establish the principle for reporting useful information about the nature, amount, timing, and uncertainty of revenue and cash flow arising from a contract with a customer. MRCB, UOA, Masing Berhad, and IOIPG are all from the property sector. The main sources of revenue are from property development and property investment. These 4 companies generate sales and service revenue and reported revenue from contract with customer. According to MFRS 15 paragraph 9, the contract with the customer recognizes revenue and the existence of a contract between the entity and the customer. Service revenue is defined as the net income of a company earns from the service provided, while sales revenue is generated from the sales of goods and services. In the year of 2023, MRCB gets the highest revenue, while the least revenue was earned by UOA Development Berhad. As I mentioned just now, revenue is recognized when goods or services are transferred to the consumer. By MFRS 15 paragraph 31, all businesses recognize revenue from contract with customer when a performance obligation is fulfilled and customer obtain ownership of the goods and service. The core principle recognizes revenue by applying a 5-step model. First, identify the contract with customer. Second, identify the performance obligation in the contract. Third, determine the transaction price. Fourth, allocate the transaction price to the performance obligation in the contract. The last one, recognize revenue when the entity satisfies a performance obligation. All 4 companies comply with the MFRS paragraph 31, 35, and 38. Only UOA Development Berhad comply with the paragraph 51, recognize the revenue only if the substantial uncertainties in recovering the consideration related to the associate cost of a possible return of goods are resolved.
Good day to Doctor. My name is Lim Zan Wei, and I'll be presenting for the measurement of the revenue. There are 3 standards that need to be complied by the companies in this section. The first standard is the revenue of the company is measured at its transaction price. All the 4 companies which are Malaysian Resources Corporation Berhad, UOA Development Berhad, Masing Group Berhad, and IOI Properties Group Berhad has complied with this standard as these 4 companies recognize revenue according to the transaction price allocated to each of the performance obligation. The second standard that must be complied by the companies is the company must estimate the amount of consideration if the consideration promised in a contract includes a variable amount. All the 4 companies are complied with this standard as the companies recognize revenue over the period of the contract by referring to the progress towards the complete satisfaction of the performance obligation. Moreover, the third standard that must be complied is the methods that the companies use to estimate the amount of consideration. All the 4 companies are complied with this standard, where the companies use input methods to calculate the revenue according to the proportion that the property development costs incurred to the date bear to the estimated total cost for the property development. Lastly, these are the numbers of the notes to extract the information from the notes to the financial statements. Next, I will be presenting the industry-specific issues for the property industry. First of all, the first issue that has been highlighted is the housing affordability. Housing affordability is the housing units that are relatively inexpensive and affordable by the segment of society whose the income is below the median household income. The first major issues that has been brought by the housing affordability is the mismatch between the housing supply and demand. This is because the demand for the affordable houses has increased rapidly, but the supply is limited due to the exact cost of the land and production of the houses. In addition, the second major issue is the new construction that bias into unaffordable ranges. This is because the companies will issue more normal houses instead of affordable houses due to the cost incurred and to maintain a healthy cash flow of the company. Lastly, the third major issue is the house price increase and surpass the household income growth. This is because the developers will pass on the additional cost to other housing types in the development to ensure that the company is getting a profit for every financial year end. In addition, the second issue in the property industry is the overhang and unsold properties. The main factors that has caused this issue is the location of the properties. This is because the house sold in the urban areas is definitely faster compared to the rural areas, which will cause the company to suffer losses due to the lack of sales. According to the research, Malaysian Group Berhad will be continuously increasing the supply of overhang properties due to the continued mismatch of supply and demand, while Malaysian Resources Corporation Berhad might face the issue of customers lacking interest in their houses, which will lead to the increased holding costs and cause the company to suffer approximately 387.3 million of unbilled sales. Not only that, UOA Development Berhad suffered approximately 150 million of decrease in the revenue for the 3 projects that is handled by the company, while IOI Properties Group Berhad has incurred 460 million of unbilled sales, where there is a total value of 207 million of properties remain unsold for more than 5 years. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Greetings everyone, my name is Charlene Ying. I would like to explain 5.0 revenue-related disclosure with you. Let's dive into the first part, 5.1, contract with customer, which based on MFRS 15, paragraph 113. According to paragraph 1138 of MFRS 15, revenue recognized from contract with customers should be disclosed by an entity and kept apart from any other source of revenue. The 4 chosen companies abide by this disclosure. For Malaysian Resources Corporation Berhad (MRCB), Note 6 of its financial statement complies with the disclosure, and its revenue is nearly 2.5 million ringgit Malaysia. UOA Development Berhad complies with the statement with the revenue of nearly 400 million ringgit Malaysia in Note 3.7. Moreover, for Malaysian Berhad, Note 7 complies with the disclosure, and its revenue is nearly 2.26 billion ringgit Malaysia. Lastly, IOI Properties Group Berhad complies with the disclosure, and its revenue of 2.26 million ringgit Malaysia is mainly derived from property development and investment. Paragraph 113b states that if entity recognize an impairment loss on any receivable or contract asset arising from an entity's contracts with customer. Paragraph 113b says these losses must be shown separately from impairment loss from other contracts. The 4 chosen companies abide by this disclosure. The 4 companies comply with this disclosure. Let's move on to the next part, 5.2, contract balance based on MFRS 15, paragraph 116. Paragraph 116a states that the opening and closing balance of receivable, contract asset, and contract liability from contract with customer shall be disclosed if not separately present or disclosed separately. The 4 companies comply with this disclosure. According to paragraph 116b, a company must initially report any revenue recognized in this reporting period that were part of contract liability, while paragraph 116c states that disclosing the revenue recognized from performance obligation was satisfied in this reporting period. The contract liability acknowledged in this fiscal year can be used to determine the amount. The 4 companies comply with this disclosure. Let's move to 5.3, performance obligation based on MFRS 15, in paragraph 119. As stated in paragraph 119A, an entity shall disclose when it considers a performance obligation to be satisfied. MRCB revenue is recognized throughout the contract by reference to the progress towards complete certification of that performance obligation. Otherwise, revenue is recognized at the point in time when customers obtain control of the asset. Furthermore, UOA Development Berhad has complied with paragraph 119A by recognizing revenue through the performance obligation certified over time for sales of development properties under construction and construction contract, and through the performance obligation certified upon control of hand has passed to the buyer for sales and complete. Furthermore, UOA Development Berhad has complied with paragraph 119A by recognizing revenue through the performance obligation satisfied over time for sales of development properties under constructions and construction contract, and through performance obligation satisfied upon control of land has passed to the buyer for sales of complete properties. A significant judgment is required by Malaysian Group Berhad to determine the satisfaction of performance obligation as stated in contract with customer. Transaction price allocation. Costs are associated with applying the input method to recognize revenue over time. For IOI Properties Group, performance obligations are satisfied when the company transfers the goods and service and the customer gain control over them. An entity required under paragraph 119B to reveal significant payment circumference, including a major financial component in the contract or a variable amount of consideration. The area involving a higher degree of judgment or complexity, or where assumption and estimate are significant to the financial statement, are disclosed in Note 3 to the MRCB financial statement. IOI Property Group has disclosed revenue from uncertified or partially certified performance obligation in Note 26. This requirement did not apply to UOA Development Berhad and Malaysian Group Berhad. Paragraph 119D states that return, refund, and other similar obligations should be disclosed. IOI Property Group Berhad aligns with this in Notes 26 and 27. This requirement did not apply to MRCB, UOA Development Berhad, and Malaysian Group Berhad.
Now let's discuss the issues related to ethics and revenue. We have discovered 4 issues, and let's start with the first one. From what we have noticed, the property industry is dealing with the rising building material prices, resulting in an anticipated 15% increase in overall constructions in the first half of 2024. Developers struggle to balance this cost while maintaining affordability, while homeowners' housing affordability is worsened, which impacts the overall real estate market's stability. Next, corruption issue is an ethical issue which significantly harms properties companies. This includes poor quality management and human rights issues. Based on the sustainability reports, the Malaysian Resources Corporation Berhad has issued a Code of Business Ethics. For UOA Development Berhad, they established a Code of Conduct and Ethics, anti-bribery and corruption policies to manage conflicts of interest and prevent power abuse. Malaysian Group Berhad set up an anti-bribery and anti-corruption policies to prevent them from happening. Therefore, the companies reported 0 incidents of corruption. While for IOI Properties Group Berhad, they have a strong internal controls and did not suffer any financial losses regarding to corruptions. All these policies and acts mentioned above help build trust with stakeholders, reducing the risk of bribery and corruption. Furthermore, we have data breaches. Data breaches can cause reduced revenue, which potentially lead to companies' reputation problem. Based on the sustainability reports of the 4 chosen companies, all of them have 0 complaints about customers' privacy breaches and data losses, indicating a robust data privacy and security systems. This shows that they are committed in complying with the Malaysian Personal Data Protection Act 2010. A 0% data breaches can build customer trust, resulting in increased investments and property sales. Last but not least, whistleblowing. All 4 companies have established a secure and confidential channels for reporting concerns, providing the whistleblowers access to investigation. For Malaysian Resources Corporation Berhad, UOA Development Berhad, and Malaysian Group Berhad, it's believed that there are 0 reported whistleblowing cases in the financial year 2023. For IOI Properties Group Berhad, the company received 5 cases regarding harassments, and all 5 of them faces disciplinary actions. Addressing and resolving whistleblowing cases transparently demonstrates their commitment to ethical business practice. To conclude, revenue recognition is a crucial accounting principle based on MFRS 15. From the analysis we have, all 4 companies actually adhere to these principles despite some variations. The issues related to property industry is also well addressed. In regards with the revenue-related disclosure, they have demonstrated accountability in their financial reporting. They have also dealt with issues related to ethics and revenue. Overall, by adhering to these MFRS guidelines, companies can enhance their reputations, fostering transparency, trust, and credibility, ultimately contributing to a more stable financial market in Malaysia.
Before we end up the presentation, I would like to use the quote by Scott Adams to end up the presentation. Remind people that profit is the difference between revenue and expense. This makes you look smart. We are from OCC Group 8. Thank you for your watching.